Welcome to another episode with your chapter crush sweetheart. This is Everblue Presents When You're Enough, a chapter crush sweetheart series. Bronwyn, Chapter 30. I seem to be torn between I wish we'd met earlier and I wish we'd never met. Ahmed Mustafa. After another weekend spent laughing, eating, and playing games with the Planalds, I'm exhausted by Monday. After the snowball fight yesterday, I wake up aching from head to toe. I fully expect Michel to be gone, only I'm pressed against his warm back with an arm and leg wrapped around him. Immediately lifting my leg off of his, I draw my arm back, only for him to tuck it back under his arm and rest my hand on his stomach. If he wasn't still softly snoring, I'd think he was playing. Usually by the time I wake up, he's already coming back from his workout in his small basement gym. While he showers, I get on the treadmill, then we pass each other as he goes to make breakfast and I jump in the shower. That's how it's been since our arrival 10 days ago, so seeing him still asleep as the misty sunlight begins to peek through the curtains makes me wonder if he's sick. Mishu? I whisper, leaning close to his ear. I know from experience that he doesn't respond to Michel when he's asleep, and despite his insistence that he's a light sleeper, it's nearly impossible to wake him unless I touch him. Mishu, wake up, darling. I pat his tummy, trying not to let my fingers linger on the defined ridges. Look, but don't touch, frequently repeats in my mind, although he breaks his own rules whenever he feels like it. Unbidden, my mind races back to his kisses last week. I can understand the kiss at his parents' house. I knew going in to expect it. But knowing and experiencing are two very different things. I don't think his lips are legal, and I'm afraid I'll never know why he tastes like chocolate and mint. I completely lost my senses, and if he hadn't broken it off, I'd probably still be rolling my fingers through his hair. Fine, I recovered. Remarkably even, considering my lips never stopped buzzing, and I still sang along with everyone for the rest of the night on a sugar high that had nothing to do with Mama's cake. But when we were enjoying a buttery raclette at the market a couple of days later, the golden bubbling cheese coating my bread as I had only read about before, the man abruptly grabbed my hand and tugged me along behind him. It almost looked angry, his eyes darting from side to side until he found a quiet space between two stalls. I thought I'd offended him somehow, never imagining I had committed some social faux pas and he was at wit's end. When he pulled me against the wall, I thought he was about to lecture me to death. I nearly passed out when he looked at me with those stormy eyes, seconds before his lips crashed into mine. I'm still not sure what he said after. I was too busy looking at his mouth when he kissed me again, deeper, gentler, but no less urgently, only for him to release me and insist, what? That I stop enjoying my food around anyone but him? Or more specifically, stop making my appreciation known loud and clear around anyone but him? The nerve of the man. But I believe him. He's crazy enough to kiss me if I get beside myself with joy, which is why I've been relearning how to eat in public. I chuckle. It would be laughable if it weren't so annoying. Still, as punishments go, that is certainly not my least favorite thing to ever happen. How many times have I had to convince myself not to test him whenever the mood strikes? And it has struck often. I'm so deep in my thoughts, I don't realize my pats have turned into petting as I rub his stomach until he grunts, Winnie. My hand freezes mid-pat, my brain melting along with the rest of my insides at the sound of his gravelly voice. Mm-hmm. He takes a deep breath, and his voice is all rocks and silk as he grumbles. As much as I don't mind being the little spoon, I don't think either of us is ready to see where this road leads. I have never snatched my hand back faster as my words tumble out one on top of the other. You wouldn't let my arm go, and I was afraid you were sick, but since you're awake, I'll just assume you're fine, and I'm going to the bathroom now. Bolting to the bathroom, I lock the door as I collapse against the sink, my heart beating a mile a minute. What was that? After using the facilities and giving myself a stern lecture in the mirror about the importance of look, don't touch, I step out of the bathroom into an empty bedroom. The bed is already made up, so assuming Michel has gone to the gym, I pull out my running tights and a sports bra and strip off my pajamas to change. But as I'm pulling my tights up, the door to the balcony slides open, followed by a loud, Zut! My blood runs cold as I look up into the slightly less horrified eyes of my husband. I blink. He blinks. His eyes dart down and linger before snapping back to mine. Turn around! I shout, my face flushing as I begin jumping in an attempt to pull my tights up over my knees. However, Michel is glued to the spot. His eyes slam shut, his chest heaving as I grab my sports bra and hightail it into the bathroom. Are you normally in the habit of changing in the bathroom? He demands through the closed door moments later. I thought you left for the gym, I hiss. And I don't think you're setting the right tone here. Why didn't you turn around? I snip as I tug off my camisole and pull on the sports bra. His voice trails off, and when I yank the door open, he looks down at me, his eyes full of apology and also an energy. It's very much giving Big Bad Wolf, and I'm one of Bo Peep's lost sheep. Not an answer, I grit out as I push past him. Pulling on my tank top, I untie my bonnet, leaving my scarf on. I'm sorry, Winnie. I couldn't. He swallows, his Adam's apple bobbing in his throat. Walking up to him, I poke him in his bare chest, which is warmer than it was earlier. If this is part of your look, don't touch program, I want no parts of it. Unsubscribe. You hear me? He silently gazes at me, and I can't explain why it feels like he's saying something. Nor can I explain why I'm angry, but I want to kiss him. Not waiting for a response, I swipe my phone and earbuds from the charger on the nightstand and storm to the door. Vinny, he calls, but I'm already gone. 45 minutes. That's how long I spend pounding away on the treadmill while blaring songs about bad blood and slashing tires. That's how long it took me to realize I wasn't angry. Annoyed? Certainly. Confused? Yes. Overstimulated? Unfortunately. And that's the real problem, isn't it? All of these feelings and their emotional and physical reactions, they have nowhere to go. Michel has said it often and loud enough for me to get it. He doesn't want me. Not in that way. Why does my body keep getting so confused? Why am I confused, hot, and unnecessarily bothered? I groan, slowing to a walk until I stop the treadmill. I nearly leap out of my skin when I turn around to see his truly seated on the weight bench behind me, doing overhead shoulder presses. He's got an adjustable dumbbell in each hand with a lot of weight on it, judging from the way his lips are moving with every lift. I pull out my earbuds as he grunts. Bending to retrieve my water bottle, I lean on the treadmill as I take a long drink while he continues grunting through his reps. His damp hair is pulled into a knot, and as sweat beads his brow, he pauses, sitting the dumbbells in the rack before readjusting the weight. Dialing it down from 70 to 60, he picks the weights up, and raising a brow as he stares at me, he begins his reps again. He doesn't break eye contact as he continues, and now I'm locked in a staring contest with a grunting Neanderthal. Is this how you and Ben started your staring contests? I smirk. No response. Were you gazing soulfully into each other's eyes at the gym one day and realized you could take the show on the road? Grunts. His heated gaze follows as I cross the small gym to stand in front of him. Huh, so you aren't just staring into space, I smirk, looking down at him. More grunts as beads of sweat run down his forehead. So what do you think about while pressing all that weight? He drops the weights to the cement floor, shakes his arms out, and after adjusting down to 50, he lifts them up again and repeats the process. Dropping into an Asian squat, I rock back and forth to stretch my hamstrings as his eyes follow me. You might be able to lift hundreds of pounds, but how flexible are you? His lip curls, but he doesn't smile as he continues grunting through his set. Stretching a leg out in each direction, I drop into a split against the cold floor. Can you do this? I ask. I know I'm being silly, but there's something about this huge guy grunting away with his giant dumbbells that's very entertaining. Rolling forward until both elbows hit the floor, I rest my chin in my hands. What about this? I ask. He silently stares down at me as he breathes through his reps. I roll back into my sitting split and put my fists on my hips. Well, what exactly are all those muscles for if you can't do anything with them? I huff. In one fell swoop, he drops the dumbbells in the rack, and grabbing me by the hips, he lifts me straight in the air. Michel! I gasp. Are you going to keep teasing me, Winnie? He says gruffly. I'm breathless from how fast he moved, and also from dangling above him midair, but I fold my arms anyway as I glared at him. There you go again, ignoring your own rules. What happened to look but don't touch? His eyes darken, the gray-blue irises barely visible as he lowers me to his chest. Tucking an arm behind my knees, he doesn't put me down. I'm really not that small. Yet, the ground looks awfully far from up here. I expel a breath as I scowl at him, bothered that I'm so unbothered about being held like a toddler. Instead, I try to ignore the turbulence in my chest as his lips quirk up. You're doing plenty of looking funny, so I assumed you were unsubscribing from the Don't Touch pal. Put me down, I grit out, fighting the urge to squirm. He slowly lowers his arm until we're eye level. You wanted to know what the muscles are for. Well, now you know. I can do this all day, but I'd rather put you down after we talk. So talk to me. Are you upset that I saw you in a state of undress this morning? Or are you upset I wasn't able to look away at your request? His eyes are gently pleading with me to talk to him, but my nostrils flare as I roll my lips inward. It's fine, I grumble. In French, Dev, he gently prompts. We've slipped in and out of French so frequently, especially when we're around his family, that I barely notice unless he points it out. My eyes narrow on his face and he stares back, waiting. I sharply expel a breath. Fine, I snap. I don't understand why this keeps happening. Most days I feel like I'm fine, and then something happens, like today, and I'm not. At first, I thought I was angry because you didn't look away when I asked you to look away, but then I realized you definitely saw more than that when we were sick that time, so it was ridiculous to be angry about that. And in fact, I wasn't angry, but the fact you didn't listen when I asked was annoying. But mostly, I was annoyed with the way you looked at me. And then I realized I wasn't upset by it, but I liked it. And then I realized I liked it too much. Michel's eyes flare as he tries to absorb the deluge of words pouring out of me. My cheeks ache with the heat of embarrassment, but as usual, once he gets me started, I can't stop. And that can't go on. I won't survive this year if this keeps happening, so then I was angry all over again, but at myself. And now I'm annoyed that you're holding me captive over something as silly as me trying to cope with not understanding the way I imagined things felt and seem in books and movies when it feels so different in person, and I'm not supposed to be going through this at all. Michel's eyes never leave my face. When I finally exhale after my long explanation, he sharply nods. So your attraction has become worse, and I'm not helping. I roll my eyes. It might help if we kept our lips to ourselves. It's too confusing. I know we're doing it for show, but in the moment, it doesn't feel like it's for show. It feels real. I think my body is confused. I think I'm confused by the feelings. I just need a break. He blinks at me slowly. A break from what, Minnie? I stare back at him, my mind whirling in 100 directions. I need a break from my body? No, from my feelings? So, he audibly swallows. Not a break from me, then. My eyes widen. Oh, goodness, no, not you. This isn't your fault. It's mine. I'm the one who's struggling to regulate feelings and emotions in this, I say, waving a hand at my body. I knew there would be a ton of PDA in my mind. I'm just struggling with what it feels like and separating the reality in my body from what I know to be fact. He purses his lips as he quietly considers me. So let's cut out the PDA. Then you'd be okay, right? I slap a hand to my forehead as I shake my head. If we went from 100 to 2, I think your family might think we're fighting. And that's not even the point. Michel's brow wrinkles and he shifts me to his other forearm. Then what is the point, Dove? The point is that I need to learn to regulate what's going on inside. If I can just have a breather from the touches and looks today, I think I'll be better by this evening. I just need our friendship to come out of this trip intact. And today, I think it took a beating. Okay, Vinny, he sighs. I understand. I'll go into town today, and when I come back this evening, I'll make dinner. Or do you prefer I bring home takeout and eat in my home? I'll always take your food over takeout, unless you don't feel like cooking. And you aren't being punished. Why would you eat alone? He smiles faintly. Okay, should I take Dorian with me? My mouth drops in disbelief. You would take my only solace in all of this? He chuckles as he finally sets me down. Okay, I'll take the moto to borrow Papa's truck. The road should be clear, but better to be safe. Let me know if you need anything while I'm gone. Okay, thanks, I say, bending to pick up my water bottle. I really am sorry about earlier, Winnie. I guess you aren't the only one struggling to put feelings where they belong. When I spin around, Michel looks so sorrowful, I'm immediately overwhelmed with, I don't know what, more feelings, I guess. I lunge forward and wrap my arms around him. Thank you, Michel, for being understanding. And don't worry, I still love you. We're still friends, okay? I look up at him pleadingly as he silently gazes back. And though there are so many thoughts hidden behind his eyes, when he nods, I breathe a sigh of relief. Reaching up, I give his face a few pats. That's a good captain. Then turning, I sail out of the room, feeling lighter already. After showering and conditioning my hair, I twist my curls into two high buns, throw on my long hooded sweater dress with a pair of socks, and head downstairs to get breakfast set up. Since I'm the one cooking, it's pancakes and bacon. When Dorian wanders out of her room in her rainbow footsie pajamas, I bend to give her a kiss and have her wash up. She returns 10 minutes later, and after helping her up on the bar stool at the island, I fix her plate as her father wanders into the room. He's tucked a fitted caramel knit button-down sweater into a pair of dark slacks. His hair is still in a knot, and he's carrying his brown leather combat boots, which he tosses into the vestibule. I'm immediately jealous of everyone who gets to see him today. See, these are the kind of ideas I don't need. Also unfortunate is the fact my self-awareness doesn't stop my mouth from watering when his sweet and slightly spicy leather scent hits me. Good morning, little Guella, he smiles, dropping a kiss on Dorian's forehead. Did you sleep well? As she regales us with a very on-brand princess dream, he winks as he pours himself a cup of coffee and stands behind me. Every now and then his hand snakes around me to steal a piece of bacon or pancakes. He asks the wildest questions. I understand he kissed her to wake her up, but did the prince paint the princess' toenails first? When did he get to know her? And what if she was pretending to be asleep because she was ignoring the prince? But how did he know she was really asleep if he didn't blow in her face? That one got a chuckle out of me. When he finished, he took our plates, cleaned up the dishes, then, after dropping a kiss on her forehead and a slightly awkward kiss on mine, he was gone in a cloud of sweet, leathery goodness.